The descent into chaos in Venezuela continues. We have a source in Venezuela who has been providing great video and information over the weekend. I'm going to tell you about that. The supporters of Hugo Chavez, formerly of Hugo Chavez and now of Nicolas Maduro, the president, are continuing to march in Venezuela. There are opposition protests that are continuing. We're going to play a couple of videos for you here involving police hitting a woman, chaos and fire in the streets, and I'll tell you a little bit about what's going on. An anonymous Venezuelan who has been a viewer of our program for years has been writing back and forth with me, and I'm going to keep his name secret. He certainly feels that while he is not in particular danger right now, the last thing he needs is anybody in Venezuela who is part of the Maduro administration knowing that he is providing us this type of information, photos, and video. He writes to me that Leopoldo Lopez, who's the former mayor of Chacao, has been banned from holding office by the government, that he was on the way to one of these opposition protests and was detained on the plane by the National Guard, and that a riot subsequently broke out at the airport, in addition to all of the other protesting that is going on around the country. He encouraged students to go and protest, and now he is wanted by the government and probably going to get arrested. Our source in Venezuela saying, this is not a democracy. This is a dictatorship. God help my country. And this brings me to the issue I really want to discuss here when we talk about what's going on in Venezuela. Last week, I alluded a little bit to the idea that if you are someone who interprets the Venezuelan situation in the same left-right dichotomy that exists in the US, which is the government is liberal and the opposition to the government is conservative, it is an incorrect oversimplification, as is often the case in South America, which we talked about last week. And as our source in Venezuela wrote, it can be difficult to understand what's going on in terms of the political spectrum in Venezuela if you are used to the U.S. system. However, it's more interesting and relevant to look at it in terms of the pro-regime or pro-government side, which can be liberal or conservative, and then the opposition side, which also has liberal and conservative elements. There's a common theme where those who oppose the Venezuelan government are called right-wing fascists, but it is not accurate. It is not accurate, and in some cases, it is just flat out completely wrong. There are pro-government parties in Venezuela. For example, the PSUV, which is the United Socialist Party of Venezuela. That is a obviously left party. There is Podemos, which stands for We Can or Yes We Can. There is V Republica, which is another pro-government party, and these are along the political spectrum. On the other side, you have the opposition groups, which also are not all right-wing. You have Primero Justicia, which is a center-right movement. It means justice first. You have Voluntad Popular, which is more of a centrist party. You have Un Nuevo Tiempo, which is a center-left party. And then you have a really large opposition party called MUD, which stands for Mesa de la Unidad. And that includes Social Democrats, it includes socialists, it includes Marxists. This is a left opposition group to the government. So that's what we have to understand. And Louis, it's tough a lot of times. If you look at the emails we're getting, we're being called stupid because we don't get that Maduro is left, Chavez was left, and anybody who opposes the regime is right. It's so far from the truth.
Right. I mean, by our standards, if you judge them based on their censorship of the media and control of the media, according to the rules in our country, chances are they would be right wing.
No question.
But it's funny, if you were to take the people in our country right now who think that our current president does not deserve to be there, got there illegally, shouldn't be in the administration,
yeah,
I think we all know exactly who those people would be.
To add one more shade of gray, there are groups that were pro-Hugo Chavez and are against Nicolas Maduro. So even to say that they are pro-government does not really encapsulate their positions on Chavez versus Maduro. There was, in fact, a campaign around the recent election in Venezuela that was Chavez forever, Maduro until Sunday, which was election day. So we have to, if we're really going to analyze what's happening in Venezuela, we have to remove ourselves from this left-right dichotomy that, as a result of being in the U.S., we've become very accustomed to.